Hey, everybody, I'm Scott Wikle. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thanks for joining us on a Monday night. It's a pleasure to welcome this gentleman to my show tonight. He is a Grammy Award winning member of the Country Music Hall of Fame. And of course, you're going to know him from the Oak Ridge Boys. And he's got a great new project with his sons tonight that we're going to talk about. A brand new, actually, three brand new albums coming out. The group is called the Goldens. He has also got a book out called Behind the Beard, which has been written about his fabulous life in country music. And it's an honor to have him on the show tonight. Please welcome William Lee Golden to My Kind of Country. William, how are you tonight?
Scott, I'm doing great, and thank you for letting me be on My Kind of Country here. Since I grew up in the country, it's great to be on your show.
Well,
And, I've been involved with 5 major projects in the past year and started and finished 5 major projects. And we were talking about a little earlier there, about my autobiography book that Scott England helped me write, plus a new album with the Oak Ridge Boys, and then I've recorded 32 songs, 3 different albums with my sons, Chris and Rusty and Craig, and Aaron McCoon is singing with us on this, but my sons are incredible singers and musicians, and they have solo careers, but we all got together and during the pandemic, and I had a vision to do this for a couple of years before the pandemic, but I could never get my sons together because they had solo careers going on, and but during the pandemic, we were all shut down, so I called them over to home and to the house, and we started playing and singing music. I had to get away from television and all the negative stuff coming out of TV.
yeah, amen.
And get back to the songs that I started singing as a little kid. And we've revisited all of our childhood memories with me and my sons. I wanted them to cut songs from their childhood, so that's what we did. We cut 32 songs with Chris and Rusty and Craig, the Goldens, and then I did the Front Porch Singing album that Dave Cobb produced on the Oak Ridge Boys. So it's been a productive year and a half for me.
What a blessing.
I'm excited about people being able to hear this music that we worked on.
What a blessing.
Last year.
Man, you really made that work for you. That's great. Richard Sturban was on my show just a couple months ago, and we did a feature on the Front Porch Singing album. And, of course, folks, you can get that at theoakridgeboys.com. And, William, a little bit of history on the Goldens. If I'm not mistaken, Rusty and Chris had a couple albums out back in the 80s. Is that correct, as the Goldens?
That's true. Yeah, my sons, the Goldens, they had a recording contract with Capitol Records and SBK, and they recorded 2 or 3 projects together there and had videos and did well. And then they kind of went on their own. But after I went back with the Oak Ridge Boys, but yeah, they've been recording since they were young and writing a lot of their songs and recording them. But the projects that we did this past year, we didn't do new songs. We went back and visited the old songs that touched each of our lives through growing up. And I took my sons back to where I came from when I was a little kid, learning when I was playing guitar and singing with my sister, and I took them back to that old music, and I wanted to record those old songs with my sons to visit where I came from and the songs that as a little kid that I was singing and playing my rhythm guitar, and my sister played mandolin, and we'd sing these old country songs, these old Hank Williams songs and Roy Acuff songs, Kitty Wells songs, Louving Brothers songs, but a lot of the old-time country music singers' songs. But, it's been a very fulfilling year and a half for us making music with my sons again. And it's been over 25 years since we played and made music together.
Wow.
And when I was away from the Oaks, we actually toured together. So that was for about 8 years. We traveled around touring together and playing music.
Wow.
And the Oaks want me to come back into the group, and so I've been back with them for over 25 years now. And I'm just playing music with my sons, but we were able to do all of it now. I'm touring with the Oak Ridge Boys, and I'm also making music and doing a few dates with my sons.
Wow, you are staying busy. You know, I've watched a lot of the Facebook videos that fans put of your shows with the Oak Ridge Boys, and one of the things that I've noticed is how much fun you're having up there. And I see you dancing around the stage and interacting with the crowd and handing out set lists to people, and it just looks like you're just having more fun than ever up there.
Well, it is, and I know I'm a senior citizen now, so. But it's still something that music makes you forget how old you are. Music has a healing power to it, and it takes me back to my youth, to my childhood. And you never get too old for songs to take you back to where you come from. And that's the healing power of music, and the joy of playing and singing music.
Amen.
I know on stage at night when we're singing, it takes you, it's a joyous occasion. That's the fun time of the day to me. So we are having fun, and it's old folks still having fun.
That's great. I call that musical therapy. I think that's about the best way to put that,
Yeah, it has healing to it. I know last year when we started recording together, with Chris and Rusty and Craig, my sons, and Aaron McCoon. We just started recording and kept recording. These old songs would come to us, we'd sing them and harmonize with them. And my sons are incredible musicians and singers and songwriters. But we went back and visited the old songs that touched our lives from our childhood forward. And that's what I did and what we did. I've got them to go with me to there. And so it's been a vision of mine to put this together for 2 or 3 years now. So the pandemic was a very negative thing that happened. But we shut the television off and got away from the hate and negative stuff that was coming out of television at us every day, where everybody hates everybody, and it was just frustrating, and it felt like it was invading my spirit and tarnishing it. And I just had to turn the TVs off and get out under the trees in the backyard during the pandemic. And these old songs kept flooding my mind and my heart, and I'd sit out there and sing by myself. These old songs, I couldn't get them out of my mind, and I called my sons together. I said, guys, if y'all come over, let's sing some songs. It was a time after my sons had lost their mother last year to pancreatic cancer. It was a healing time for our family, for me and for my sons. It was mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually healing. We visited the old gospel songs from our childhood. I visited the old classic country songs from my childhood. And then my sons visited old country rock songs of their childhood. Chris sang Tom Petty's Southern Accent. Craig sang Greg Allman's Multicolored Lady. Rusty sang Bob Seger's Hollywood Nights on the third album. And my grandson Elijah, he sang the old R&B song Stand By Me and put a beautiful twist to it. And all of us harmonizing with him. and it's just, and my granddaughter Elizabeth and Rebecca, they both come joined us, and Elizabeth played violin, and her and Rebecca sang with us on, the old Jimmy Davis song, You Are My Sunshine.
Yeah.
And, we visited classic old songs that had touched different ones of us in our life. So there's three generations that wound up being involved with through the three albums. I mean, it kind of started out with me visiting the old songs in my life and taking my sons there, but then it evolved that I wanted them to do the same thing. Let's sing songs that you remember as a child, songs that touched you, made you want to be in the music business, made you want to sing. And that's what we visited. And through all of that, it was a healing process for not only me, but our whole family. A mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual healing during a pandemic. There was positive things came out of a bad situation.
What an inspirational story. I'm so glad to hear that. That's wonderful. And you being a lifelong musician, the fact that you're able to share that bond of music with your kids and your grandkids, your family, there's no greater bond. And there's something to be said too about family harmony. There's certainly, you have such a wonderful blend with the Oak Ridge Boys, but when you have families singing together, there's something just a little bit more special, and it really makes it ring. It's hard to describe it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and if you hear the harmony, you will see exactly what you and I are talking about here. That it's a sound that I have not heard before. It gives me, it's making hair stand up on my arms here talking to you about it. But it was a real feeling of exhilaration to hear these harmonies, because it's my kids, their mother's side of the family were very musical. They were great singers and musicians. So my sons have a double dose of musical background.
That's great. That's great. Folks, you can also go to williamleegolden.com and you can check out all these great albums. Now, you have two albums that have been released so far, Country Roads Vintage Country Classics and the Old Country Church Gospel. And then you mentioned the Southern Accents, the pop and country rock songs. That's coming out early next year, right?
Yeah, all the albums will be out early part of next year, probably January or February. But what we're releasing now is we're releasing singles, a single off of each album. Right now, we released Come and Dine, that's going up the charts. It jumped from the 30s to 26 this week. And then we also released a classic country single from the classic country album. We released Four Walls, and we released a video with that. And we've also released a video and single on Jambalaya, the old Hank Williams song. And CMT has premiered the Jambalaya, and they're playing that now.
Oh,
and the single is being put out to radio as we're speaking. So you should be getting the Four Walls and the Jambalaya videos or singles.
Absolutely.
That's what's out now. We've got three singles that was released a week apart, one from each album. The gospel album, the classic country album, and more the country rock album was Jambalaya. It's a dance version of the old Hank Williams song. And it's just got a infectious, you can't stand still singing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Me jumping up and down, forgetting how old I was out there.
William, I wanted to talk about your fabulous book. It is called Behind the Beard, and you wrote it with the great Scott England, who is a friend of mine and has written some other fabulous books for country stars, including Mo Bandy and Jimmy Capps and Ronnie McDowell, and the list just goes on and on. Great book, over 200 great pictures in there, and an interesting introduction that you said about being naked in front of everybody for the first time writing this book.
Yeah, that's kind of what writing a book is about, because they pose some. Scott posed some interesting questions in all the sit downs that we had. He would come, we'd sit and talk for a couple of hours, and then in 2 or 3 days, 3 or 4 days, we'd get together, and he'd bring his little recorder and put it on the table there, and we'd talk for another couple of hours. He would have questions to ask me. And then he talked to other people, about me and my ex-wife, my first wife. He talked to all the Oak Ridge boys about our breakup, and got my story, got their story. He talked to my first wife, and she told him some stories that I would not have told in this book but she did, and it's true stories. I was unfaithful to my first wife, and I was unfaithful to my second wife. So my unfaithfulness brought a lot of the problems that I had in relationships, and traveling on the road 200 days a year at that time, and we still do like 150 days a year. But sometimes the road can be a hazardous thing for relationships, and in my case, a lot of my problems were problems that I created because I was unfaithful to my wife. And he gets into those stories, and my first wife, Rojean, mother of my 3 oldest sons, she told some stories of my unfaithfulness, and those are true stories, but I learned some things in this book that I didn't know because it was from her point of view, and she filled in some gaps there that I had not heard before, and so that's all in the book too, and it's things, like I said, that I would not have gotten into that if she hadn't brought all of that up, but it is true. So anyhow, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. It's things that happened in life, and it's time on occasions that you feel the time that it's time to fess up to your problems and your unfaithfulness, and beautiful women was a thing that I've always loved and found strength from, and that's also, as some people said, it could be my weakness, but beautiful women make me feel strong. But I've been a faithful husband for my last 2 wives, and so that's a good thing, Sure. Sometimes if we don't learn from our mistakes, we're apt to repeat them. So, like I said, I've made enough mistakes for me and several other people probably, but it was all in having fun, I thought. But never to try to hurt someone, but sometimes when you're unfaithful, you hurt more people than you realize, and so I accept my responsibility for what I've done, and but I've had wonderful relationships throughout my life, and again, the things that happened early in my life, the relationships of me being unfaithful was the things that made those relationships not work out. So it was my fault. And a lot of that stuff is in the book. So, but yeah, as I get older, I feel like that I have to learn from my mistakes.
Sure. Well, I think it's a wonderful book, and I hope folks will pick up a copy of this. WilliamLeeGolden.com is the website. The name of the book is called Behind the Beard. A lot of things going on with the Oak Ridge Boys, of course. As we mentioned, the Front Porch Singing album, Love, Light, and Healing. You've got a great video for that, and you are doing a Christmas residency in Nashville that starts on November 24th and goes right through Christmas. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's the second year, actually. For 30 years, the Oak Ridge Boys did a Christmas tour across the country. We'd leave, we started our Christmas tour before Thanksgiving every year. But then on Thanksgiving Day, we would leave home and load up on the buses and the trucks. We'd take extra production on Christmas tours, so we'd have a big truck strictly for Christmas staging, and but we did 30 years of one-night stands across the country from coast to coast of Christmas tours. And last year, Gaylord Opryland offered us a residency there to do all of our Christmas shows there in Nashville at the Gaylord Opryland Hotel, because they do a big Christmas spectacular show with Christmas shows and dinners and ice shows and all this other stuff they offer there. But so last year we parked the trucks and the buses and parked them there at Opryland, and we would do our Christmas show and go home at night. And we were so fortunate that we had that book, because if we did not have that book, we would have not done it. All the other shows would have been canceled last year because of the pandemic.
Right.
But Opryland was able to have social distancing, put the tables far enough apart, had a huge room there that we performed in, and we're booked back there again this year to do 32 shows, I believe it is.
Wow.
We start, like you mentioned, on November the 24th, and we go through Christmas Day. So we sing through Thanksgiving all the way up and through Christmas Day. So, and again, it's such a wonderful place to be playing, and we get to do our entire Christmas show there.
That's fabulous. Folks, you can go to theoakridgeboys.com and get tickets for that. It's the Christmas in Tennessee dinner show at the Gaylord Opryland 38th annual Country Christmas. So that's great. You know, the Oak Ridge Boys have released some fabulous Christmas albums over the years, and not only covering so many of the classics, but some original stuff. And I always look forward to playing Oak Ridge Boys Christmas music.
Great. And on the first Christmas album we ever did was back in 1982, and that was and we released a song on that from that album that was called "Thank God for Kids." It went up the charts, and Christmas come and went, and the song kept going, and it went on, kept going up the charts at the end of Christmas and into the New Year. And then late in January, it wound up being a #1 country song. So Thank God for Kids is more than just a Christmas song.
Oh, yeah.
It's always been a special song to sing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe Eddie Raven wrote that song, right?
He sure did. Yeah. Eddie wrote it, and he had it on an album. He wrote it 8 years, I believe, before we recorded it, and had it on an album. But he brought it to us and said, "Hey, guys, I know y'all are doing a Christmas album, your first Christmas album." He said, "This may not be a regular Christmas song, but I sure think it would fit what y'all are doing." And then I got to sing the song, so that was a bonus for me, because that same Christmas, I became a grandfather for the first time.
Oh, wow.
So in December the 19th of that year. And so the song then takes on a new dimension of reality.
Sure.
And now I'm a great-grandfather, so it keeps having a new meaning every time I sing it.
Oh,
But I still love one of my favorite songs is "Thank God for Kids."
absolutely. What a great song. Well, William, I want to thank you for giving me so much of your time today and for your openness and your honesty. And I'm so looking forward to hearing the rest of these great albums from the Goldens. And folks, again, please go to williamleegolden.com and, of course, the oakridgeboys.com, and make sure you stay in touch with the Oaks. Looking forward to hearing all these great songs. And I want to thank you so much, William, for taking time to be on My Kind of Country.
Well, Scott, it's great to be on My Kind of Country, and you play the good music, and thanks for including us on that. Maybe I can come back and visit again, because I've got a lot more songs coming off of this project I'm doing with the Goldens. Like I said, we got 3 singles out now, and in a couple of months you're going to have another round of singles and videos coming from our family project. And like you mentioned, the book there, it's WilliamLeeGoldenBook.com. It's all one word. If they're interested in reading my story, and then the music you will be getting, and you can share it with your people and your listeners. Thanks for letting me be on My Kind of Country.
Oh, it's been my honor, and you can bet we'll be sharing it. I would love to have you back on. Maybe we can get your sons on with you and just talk about those great songs. I think that's just a wonderful project that you've done. It's certainly an ambitious project, and we're looking forward to hearing more of it. William Lee Golden, thank you again.
Thank you, Scott.
Goodbye, Joe. You gotta go, me oh my yo. You gotta go, old hero down the bayou. Is Yvonne, sweetest one, me oh my oh. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. Well, jambalaya, crawfish pie, and filet gumbo. For tonight I'm gonna see Mama Shadow Neo. Big guitar, feel free jar, and giggle. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. Thibodeau, Fontenot, the place is buzzing. Again, folks come to see Yvonne by the dozen. Dressed in style, they go hog wild, me oh my oh. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. Well, jambalaya, crawfish pie, and filet gumbo. For tonight I'm gonna see Mama Shadow Neo. Big guitar, feel free jar, and giggle. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. like a moth to a flame. You laugh while the wine's overflowing, while I sit here and whisper your name. Four walls to hear me, four walls to see, four walls too near me. They're closing in on me. Sometimes I ask why I'm waiting, but my walls have nothing to say. I'm made for love, not for hating. So here, where you left me, I'll stay. One night with you is like heaven, and so while I'm walking the floor, I'll listen for your steps in the hallway and wait for your knock on my door. To hear me, four walls to see, four walls too near me. They're closing in on me. They're closing in on me. Jesus has a table spread where the saints of God are fed. He invites his chosen people, come and dine. With his manna he doth feed, and supplies our every need. Oh, it's sweet to sup with Jesus all the time. Come and dine, the Master's calling, come and dine. You may feast at Jesus' table all the time. He who fed the multitude turned the water into wine. To the hungry calling now, come and dine. Soon the Lamb will take his bride to be ever at his side. All the hosts of heaven will assemble be. Oh, 'twill be a glorious sight, all the saints in spotless white, and with Jesus they will feast eternally. Come and dine, the Master's calling, come and dine. You may feast at Jesus' table all the time. multitude, turn the water into wine. To the hungry calling now, come and dine. Come and dine, the Master's calling, come and dine.
Come and dine.
You may feast at Jesus' table all the time.
All the time.
He who fed the multitude, turned the water into wine. To the hungry calling now, come and dine. He who fed the multitude,